Hey guys, Mark from Gunplay Network, and today we're here bringing you a special video. This is my top RG kits. Now you can see them over here behind me. I've built around, I think it's 16 of them so far out of the line. That includes some P-Bandai or Gundam based variants, recolors, things like the 7 Sword of the 00. So I'll run you through number 16 through to number 1 and tell you what I thought, a little bit about each kit. We won't make the video too long. And just as a side note, some of these kits were supplied by Side 7 Exports. So if you haven't checked out Gus's website, he's just moved to a new, bigger place to be able to provide us more awesome kits direct from Japan. So remember to use our discount code GunplayNetwork10. It'll be down in the description below, and check out his website. Alright, let's dive in. So what is a real grade? RG kits were introduced with the RX 78.2 Gundam in 2010. The line combines the best 3 parts of the other lines into one: the affordability and size of the high grades, the inner frames of the master grades, and the part count and details of the perfect grades. They're almost meant to reflect what it would look like if they were actually built in real life today. And it's funny we should say that with what's going on over in Yokohama. The RG tagline is excitement embodied, and for the most part it's true. These kits can be loads of fun, definitely exciting to build. They are by far my favourite line, hence why I've built quite a few of them and I hope to build them all. Alright, let's dive in. GN001 Gundam Exia. This kit is amazingly articulated. You can pull off a lot of poses with it, and it's faithful to the anime. It's a fun build, but the parts like the head can come off easily, particularly the ear-like parts, and the shield and GN blade came off a lot for myself when I was posing. If you're a Gundam 00 fan though, all of this will be forgiven with these sharp looks and articulation. The standard version looks great, but this Trans Am in the metallic gloss injection is epic if you can find it. It is a few years old now. GAT X105 plus AQM/E X01 Ailstrike Gundam. That was a long title. This was a love-hate kit for me. I love the looks of the Strike. It's personally one of my favourite designs from Seed, the first series. But I hated trying to pose this thing with the AIL pack on it. Once you had it on the ground as the Strike Gundam alone, it was fantastic. You've got those Schneider blades hid as a gimmick in the side skirts. I've painted it in the deactive mode, and it just looks great. The details are great, and the inner frame is solid except for the angles, which just weaken under the weight of the Strike pack. The front and rear skirts can come off easily when posing, and the legs pop straight off. If you're a Seed fan though, you will love the kit. But for me, it was kind of ruined by those. ZGMF X20A Strike Freedom Gundam. So this had the potential to be such a great kit. It was gold inner frame, lots of weapons, and great if you pose it on a stand. But the waist joint comes apart so easily at the slightest movement. The back skirts come off easily, and the railguns that slide around from the back to the front is a great gimmick, but can be a little fiddly. Otherwise, the Dragoons are well done. They open up to reveal a gold-plated inner frame instead of the tacky yellow gold that we were given on the mobile suit frame. Now, I've painted mine, as you can see. It's a bit of a darker metallic gold. The rifles are fantastic, like the Strikes, and the head is a beautiful sculpt. Overall, it's a good effort, but it suffers from a few issues common on the Seed RG kits. MS-Z 006 Zeta Gundam. This is a highly debated kit. A hand grenade? I think not. Now I'm going to cop some flack for that, but bear with me. While it leaves a bit to be desired in the transformation department, with parts falling off or breaking, this was a fully transformable version of the iconic design. I have the Zeta 3A GFT version, but other than the decals and colouring, it's exactly like the original Zeta. The main issues I had with this kit was the circlip, or a little C-shaped plastic clip, on the back of the legs that holds them onto the waist joint. If they fly off, you'd better find them fast before the ether takes them. Otherwise, if you take your time and build as per the instructions, this kit can be heroic to pose and a great addition to your shelf. I'd own 2, just so I could have one in Wave Rider and one in MS form. Now I've got this in the Wave Rider form. I have transformed it there and back a couple of times, but for me, I think you should definitely own 2. But I would not call this kit a hand grenade by far. It just takes some time and patience. MS-06S Shah's Zaku 2. As you can tell, it's no longer red. I did a custom paint job including Shah in a more standard Xeon uniform green colour. And this was a purple colour. Just paints I had laying around. This Zaku gets me nostalgic for the 0079 anime. It's a great representation of Shah's Zaku in the 1/44 scale. Before the Origin kits, obviously. It's highly detailed with an inner frame. The opening cockpit is a great gimmick. Detailed weapons and the turning mono-eye make this an excellent kit. The drawbacks are that the piping take a long time to do and they are very tiny and hard to deal with. The skirts will come off if you look at them wrong, and the legs pop out when you're not careful. The head comes off easily too, for some unknown reason that just won't stay in there. Otherwise, the sliding armor gimmicks were unheard of in this scale at the time, and making posing this kit a lot of fun. I can definitely recommend either the Shah's version or the standard green version. They're basically the same with just a couple of minor parts like the commander fin different. GN 0000 GNHW 7SG 00 Gundam 7 Sword inspection colours. So this variant of Setsuna FCE's mobile suit was a blast to build. Though it's a long one with all the accessories you get a ton of accessories. Minor issues come down to I broke the knee covers on mine and they needed to be glued on. The huge swords are impressive, but you'll need to use the clear stand that Bandai kindly provided for you to get any decent poses out of them, because they're just way too heavy. Otherwise, it was a fun build, and those inspection colours really grab your attention and will be drawn to you on your shelf every time you look at it. I haven't built the standard 00 Riser version, but I will at some point soon, hopefully. This is a great 00 kit. MBF P03 Astray Blue Frame Gundam. So the Blue Frame Astray is a brilliant looking kit. It makes you want the whole set, the red and the green and the gold frames. I'm not a huge Astray fan, but this kit changed my mind. It unfortunately suffers from the same issue all Seed kits seem to have, which is a really weak waist joint and comes apart easily. I have noticed after a few months in the cabinet, the ankles aren't holding on as well either. If I open up my detail for cleaning, it can fall right out at me and I'll need to catch that bad boy before it hits the floor. The bad thing about the looks would be the stickers. Usually on an RG kit they aren't too bad, but those grey-black parts, which look really great, will show off the edging of every sticker, so you'll need to cut those down a bit or find some water slides. And unfortunately for the metallic blue coating parts, which do look awesome, they leave marks no matter how well you cut down and clean them up. You're removing paint as you cut them off the runner. Most of the nubs though are hidden by other parts being the frame. If you love the Astrays, you'll definitely love this, and for me, I didn't mind that I didn't get the chrome swords that the red one has, because the bazooka and rifle are pure awesome, and that metallic is epic. MS-06R High Mobility Type Zaku 2 Johnny Ridden version. This was actually the first RG kit I ever built, way back a couple of years ago, and I was highly impressed with the posability of the kit, as well as the looks and detail. The huge parts count in the inner frame made me want to get into more and more of these RG kits, which obviously I have. The kit was the first high mobility type and more followed on with the P Bandai variants, being the TriStars, Shin Matsunaga, and then came Mine Layer and others. So the accessories are awesome, and you can pull some amazing poses with the kit. The drawback being that it's based on the original Shah Zaku 2, which had the legs coming off easily, the skirts coming off, as well as the head. So just some things to keep in mind. Otherwise, a brilliant looking suit. RX 78.2 Gundam. The Granddaddy Gundam, the first in the RG line, and highly appropriate. The part separation is so good, the addition of either a core block or a core fighter to use is amazing. But let's face it, who's going to lock away the core fighter instead of an ugly grey block, which you could paint? There are some issues, like the shoulders coming off, the potential to snap the leg frame if you move it the wrong way, I read and saw in other reviews, but I didn't experience that myself. But this kit was made back in 2010, over 10 years ago now, or just on. It's the first RG with a full inner frame at this scale, was unheard of. It just does the original design so proud, and UC fans should definitely have this on their shelves. ZGMF X09A Justice Gundam. Now this was a surprising build. It was pretty fun, easy, and not frustrating at all for an older RG kit. Everything about the Justice is interesting. The head design is out there with that unicorn-like and clear piece on top. The colour scheme is bright and the backpack is just huge. I was surprised with the amount of posing you can actually do and how stable this thing is. Bandai certainly knew what they were doing with this kit. The only drawbacks were some of the nubs were hard to get off on the backpack, and the seams on the edge of the backpack can open up when you're posing it, just they don't seem to stay locked in place, I guess. Otherwise, Bandai provided you with a couple of extra stand pieces to help either with this kit standing up on its own, which I wish they'd do more of with other kits, or you could stand the kit on top of it. There was just so many variety of things you could do with it. Great shield, great rifle that it comes with, beam weaponry. It's I was so surprised by this, hence it rating so highly on my list. Oz 00MS Tall Geese EW. Any Wing fan around the world was cheering when they announced this one. I was hugely surprised. Sure, the Tall Geese is a great design, but it seemed out of place getting an RG. Until I built it, then I realised how good it was. The Verniers gimmick is fiddly but awesome. The posability is excellent. Just watch the tight shoulders though, because they can stress mark easily. And the colour accuracy is epic with a range of great colours on it. You really need to pose this on a stand though to get the best out of it, but it'll stand just fine on its own. And this kit is as solid as they come. RX-78 GP01 Zephyranthus Gundam. I was scared and excited to build this one at the same time. It's basically my all-time favourite design from my favourite OVA, 0083 Stardust Memory. I'd heard bad stories about this kit. Lucky for me, they weren't true. This was a fun build. More kits should have an accessory like a core fighter. It's faithful to the anime while being fun to build and awesome to look at. It may not feel like the most solid of kits, but I didn't have any real issues when posing it or playing around with it. Only the top connection on mine on the backpack core fighter part wasn't as secure, and I just fixed that with a touch of glue. I'm unsure of the full Vernian or full Burnin version. I'll get that later on, but this version of the kit is deserving of a top spot in my opinion. RX-0N Unicorn Gundam 02 Banshee Norn. So the Unicorn Gundams were hailed as the best RG kits, up to their release point. Newer ones have recently come and knocked them down a peg or two. They're still a solid kit with minor imperfections. The Banshee is a great looking kit. I prefer Unicorn mode, but it looks great in either form, particularly with the orange Psycho frame showing. I found the joints to be quite tight though, so you really need to be careful when first moving it around. Make sure you flex and stretch as you go, and possibly some lithium grease does help in the joints, and that doesn't stain anything. The thigh armors will come off when moving them around, you can see in my review, but easily fixed. Overall, an impressive kit. You could pose this thing for hours, transforming back and forth, not an issue. A set of water slides is needed though on the darker plastic, but otherwise, pick one up for sure, and it's got so many variants now. MSN-04 Sazabi. The internet broke when the RG Sazabi was announced, being that the Verkar is one of the most highly rated master grades around. This looks like a mini Vercar down to sliding armour gimmicks, a solid inner frame, and unlike older RG kits, it has a frame you assemble over the top of other parts rather than just being pre-molded on the B runner that you get. So basically this is just straight building the frame yourself. It's a gorgeous kit from all angles, round, red, and one of the most well known from the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. You can shake it and nothing comes off. The shoulders need some care, they're a bit tight, but other than that, this thing will be around forever. The weapons are amazingly detailed and the potential for posing is unlimited. I cannot recommend this kit enough. RX-178 Gundam Mark II, a UG version. Touted as the ultimate RG kit until the most recent ones, that is. This design is loved by almost everyone, and the kit itself is as solid as they come. Posable, rock solid, beautiful are some of the words I would use to describe this kit. I think it's a must for any RG builder and definitely a starting point if you want to get into RG kits. Hell, even get both versions. RX-93 Nu Gundam. And of course this was going to be number one on my list. Apart from it being the Nu Gundam, I actually got the titanium finish, I was really lucky, and this thing is gorgeous. I almost couldn't believe my eyes when Bandai announced the Nu Gundam RG. It was a dream come true for those of us who didn't have the Vercars on the shelf. And you can now get it in a 1/144 scale. But for a 1/144 scale, it has huge presence, near limitless poses and amazingly detailed. Even better if you can get the titanium version. This has to be the most gorgeous and well done RG kit to date, and it's well deserving of number one on anyone's list. Well, that's it for now guys. Thanks very much for joining me for this video. Don't forget to check out Side 7 Exports, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and if you've built quite a few RGs, leave your own list in the comments below. Thanks and bye bye for now.